Now, before I begin, I need I need a few people to step up to the congregation here. No, 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 no. We don't got questions. We want them to see. We want them to see what is going on out here. That being said, to all you retarded fucks out there who has a problem with mandatory DNA testing at birth, has an issue with it. All you retarded fucks who want to make excuses to why mandatory paternity testing at birth shouldn't be passed. And no, y'all ain't gonna be the only ones that's gonna have to step up to the congregation. We gonna put both Jamaica and France also up to the congregation as well, because all these clowns who think mandatory paternity testing at birth is a bad idea. We all want them to see the outcome of not wanting to have mandatory paternity testing at birth. And shout out to Anton Daniels. I'll leave the link to his full video in the comment section. Go check it out. I mean, what's their excuse? We shouldn't pass mandatory DNA testing because quote unquote it will disrupt the family and the community. Okay, so by not letting these men know whether or not they're the father of these children that the mother claims they are, and they end up finding out they're not, how will the family and community how is it going to affect the family and the community, to put it in that perspective, huh? Well, let's hear it.
Following breaking news out of Sterling Heights, where police say a husband shot his wife in her work parking lot. That shooting happened at the Pomeroy Living Center on 15 Mile near DeQuinder. Gina Vici has an update on the victim's condition and the investigation.
Yeah, this is still a very active scene behind me. Take a look at this. Look at the bullet casing markings on the ground here. Sterling Heights police saying around 8 o'clock this morning they received a 911 call that a woman had been shot in the parking lot here at the Pomeroy Living Center off of 15 Mile near DeQuinder. We're told an employee was shot by her husband in the parking lot. We're told they both lived in the city of Warren and that the husband came up to his wife's employer and shot her several times. Police thankfully were able to respond to the scene within seconds. The wife was rushed to a nearby hospital where she is still alive. Police encountered the husband, who was armed with a revolver, and were able to take him into custody. Here is Captain Mario Bastianelli talking about the moment officers encountered the gunman.
But like I said, our officers were here, very quickly. So, which makes all the difference in the world of somebody with a gun and they're actively shooting at people. So this happened to be a targeted incident because it was a domestic situation. But you never know how these things are going to transpire, right? How they're going to work out. Officers show up. You have a guy with a gun, Does he go peacefully, or does this end up, turning into a shootout with our officers? It's a very stressful situation on everybody, including our officers arriving. All in all, a good ending to a bad situation.
Again, we're told the female victim is expected to survive despite being shot several times in the body. And again, her husband has been taken into custody. No word yet on when he could be charged.
Now, I know what you're wondering. Why did he shot his wife multiple times? Well, apparently, people who known the couple has some interesting reasons. And yes, for those of y'all who don't know, the streets can talk.
Sterling Heights, Gino Vicis.
So this is what's really happening in the streets. This is what they're saying is happening in the streets, all right? They're saying that this woman basically had children. They were married for at least 9 to 10 years, somewhere around a decade. And that she basically had 3 children that he thought was his, and that he found out that they weren't his. And so as a result, he couldn't take the pressure. He crashed out, and then he wound up going up to her job. And then this was what happened. He wound up shooting her. Obviously, it seems like he tried to take her out. He wasn't able to successfully take her out, which I'm not saying that he should have successfully taken her out, because I'm always going to stand on the whole idea.
To be honest, I would have picked better words. I would have picked better words for this situation. And no, just because we bring this story to light doesn't mean we support nor condone his actions. No, we don't. No, we don't. He could have assaulted better than what he did. But at the same time, let's be upfront and real, call a ball and a strike a strike. Let's call a ball and a strike a strike. We understand what led to that point. No, we don't condone his actions, but we understand what led to it. So basically, he found out that all 3 of his children that he thought was his, come to find out, none of those 3 children were his. And let me just go ahead and say this right here. A lot of these motherfuckers have no clue how that fucks with a man's mind. Luckily, she survived. She survived. And that's good. And that's good too. But many before her weren't so lucky. And I don't know why people think that mandatory paternity tests at birth is a bad idea when we can clearly see what is happening when that law isn't enforced. But then again, what has Uncle JD been saying? In a situation like this, whether mandatory paternity testing at birth gets passed or not, guess what? It doesn't matter if you go left or you go right. Because by the end of the day, all roads lead to hell. So basically, as I said before in a previous video, and yeah, I'll put that in the comment section. It's damn if they don't, and damned if they do. Damned if they do, and damned if they don't. But everybody can clearly see that these men ain't having it anymore. Not in this day and age. Yeah, they might have. Yeah, they could have. Yeah, these women putting children on men that are not theirs. They would have got away with it in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. What did Kanye West said? 18 years on their 18th birthday, found out it wasn't his? And that was back in 2004. But this ain't 2004 anymore. This is now 2025. Nowadays, men ain't don't even have to wait to the child's 18th birthday to find out that the child ain't his. Not with the latest technology they got now. Sure, you even got at home paternity test kits now. And let's be upfront and real about something else too. Some of these men out here won't take it. They will lose their fucking mind when they find shit out like this. But then again, what did the Joker said? All it takes is one bad day for the most sanest man alive to dive into lunacy. You know what I mean? Picture yourselves in this situation. A child has been conceived. Believing that it's his, he signs the birth certificate. Now he's on the hook as the biological father of the child. He helped raise that child, bonded with that child. Make sure the child has a decent education. Make sure they have food to eat, clothes on their back, shoes on their feet. And as the years go by, the bond gets stronger and stronger. But one day, he finds out the actual truth. That child he's been raising for years, bonded with, have a family bonding with, come to find out that child isn't his. Do anybody have any idea how that fucks with a man's mind now finding out this truth? Yeah, some men will take it, but then there are men that won't, that ain't. And yeah, if you think a man ain't gonna reach that boiling point to the point of snapping, then I got a bridge to sell you. And this is how I see this situation right here. And nowadays, men ain't having that shit. And this is why mandatory paternity testing is important to avoid situations like this. And yes, I am passionate about this because while you got some clowns who want to sit there and say, "Oh, mandatory paternity testing is nonsense," well, guess what you're seeing? And as I said before, this shit is only going to get worse before it gets better. In fact, it's only going to get worse instead of better. And I'm sorry for going on a long ass rant, but I have to get this shit out. Let's continue.
Yeah, that nobody should have to lose their life over a domestic violence situation. However, I understand. I can't say that I'm not justifying it. I'm not saying that it should have happened. But I truly understand. And the question that I have to ask you guys is, when will women be accountable for the decisions that they make? Now,
we all know the answer to that, Anton Daniels. They don't want to be accountable. You even got some women, despite the truth actually coming out, still wants that same man to continue on playing the role. They still want that man to continue to pretend being the father that he is to a child that's not his. So we all know the answer to that question. Let's continue.
He is going to be held accountable. All right. This guy is going to be held accountable for his decision to decide to crash out. That's just the way that it is. He's going to be held accountable, and he's probably going to go to jail. And there's nothing that we can do to save him from it. And so that's just the way that it's going to be. But the question that I then have to ask is, at what point will women then say, "You're wrong, You shouldn't be having children that aren't yours or that isn't his from your husband. You shouldn't be having children, let alone in a situation where you're cheating on your husband. He finds out, because listen, this is not even a secret that you can hold down for the rest of your life. You can try, but the level of technology that we have, and as the kids grow up and they don't look nothing like you, and I don't know if the children were, from all different guys or if it was all just the same guy that she wound up having children with or what. But when you start playing with that type of disrespect, what did you expect was going to happen, right? Because you can control.
Straight up. Come on, ladies. This is not a fucking game. What y'all were able to get away with in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, you ain't gonna get away with it on this in situations like this. And as I say before, with the technology they have today and everything at disposal level, he doesn't have to wait till the child turns 18 to find out that the child isn't his. And yes, they got several, now I mean several things that could tell you whether or not he is that man is biologically the child's father. You got you got paternity tests, that's one. If, say for instance, one of your children needs a blood transfusion, keep in mind, there's a big chance that the child will have the same blood type as their parent. But it becomes inconclusive, like what happened to that judge. No, not the judge, someone else who needed whose child needed a blood transfusion, come to find out that because the blood didn't match, and then later find out that the child wasn't his, that's another telltale sign. And I mean, there's so many options out here. Need I say more? Let's continue.
What you do, or you can control, how it is that you treat people, but you can't control what the outcome is. But here's a caveat to this whole situation. The caveat to this situation is you would be surprised how many guys think that their father is theirs and it ain't their father. You would be surprised at the amount of people that can't truly trace their lineage because that's not their real father. You would be
straight up. What if they decide to trace their lineage and start studying their family tree? Then they come to find out that the tree is not theirs. That fucks up the entire situation altogether.
Be surprised how many of y'all are not your father's child, and the lie died with your parents, or it died with your mother, or it died with your grandmother. There are so many diabolical grandmothers and mothers out here. There are so many women that are hoping and praying that guy never takes a DNA test. Do you know that people are advocating against DNA at birth?
Yeah, a bunch of retarded fucks is what I call them. I mean, you got these women out here that don't like mandatory DNA testing at birth because of the fact that because of the fact that they are 304s who can't keep their legs closed for every man in the hood, in the suburbs, in the ghettos, you name it. Some are even combative about it because let's keep it up front and real. Call a ball, and a strike. They got something to hide. Compared to other women who thinks it's a great idea. A man should know who their child is, should know whether or not they're the father of that child, and every child has a right to know who their biological father is. I've been said this for years, and I'm gonna keep on ramming it through the ground. Off the gate. Let's continue.
Because they don't want to be held accountable. Now think about it. This guy is taking care of these 3 kids. He believes in his heart that they are his. I see women a lot of times that jump on the internet and say, why would a man leave if he found out that the kids is not his? You've already bonded with them. You already love them. And that makes it, in my opinion, more diabolical because it's like, how can you justify bonding with a child that's not yours? And this is another reason why I say that it's difficult for a man to play another man's same game and be a step baby daddy, because how can you justify being able to bond with and take care of another man's child? Now, I get it. A lot of y'all are...
There is no justification. She lied to him, had him believe that the child was his. Years went by. Years has passed. He finds out the child isn't his. Again, that fucks with their mind. It gets so bad to a point to where now you got men out here murdering their girlfriends and wives, all because they decided to pin the baby on the wrong guy. And men are getting tired of it. And as I say before, not all men will do this. Only a few will. But then again, nobody knows what these men are capable of. And all it takes is one bad day for them to lose control. And then you got tragedies like this happening. Now tell me, we don't need mandatory paternity testing at birth. And this goes out to all these retarded fucks who has a problem with it. Let's continue.
Stepchildren. And so some of y'all had y'all stepfather, your stepmother in your life. And so you gonna have a biased perspective or opinion. But I guarantee you that the overwhelming majority of you would not advocate that your children, your son, do the same thing and take care of another man's child. So if we would justify it.
And what I'm about to say next, I know it's gonna hurt them. You got single mothers out here that are encouraging their sons not to settle for single mothers. And before anybody catch feelings on what I just said, y'all don't want me to pull out receipts. I still got those videos of single mothers wanting their sons not to get with single mothers. Now try me if you dare. Let's continue.
Say, hey, there's no reason why you would ever want to go and take care of another man's child, play another man's safe game, be a step crash dummy. At some point, that child, because they know that you're not the real father, even though you may be pouring into them, at some point, that child is probably going to say, you not my daddy, and it's going to pierce you. It's going to break your heart. It's going to break your heart.
Straight up, but you got retarded fuck ass simps and panda bears want to talk about, oh, you're not a real man unless you taking care of another man's child, or hey, 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 being a stepdaddy is a grown man's sport. But here's the irony of those same retarded fuck ass Sims saying that shit. Ask them how many kids are they raising that's not theirs. Okay then. And fellas, you will be surprised that you got Sims like Derek Jackson and other panda bears trying trying to shame men to selling for being stepfathers. But guess what? Derek Jackson ain't raising kids that are not his. And you got the rest of these Sims and panda bears doing the exact same thing, but they themselves are not taking care of kids that are not theirs. They're not. And oftentimes, the children that they're taking care of are their own. But fellas, they will shame you into selling for being a step dummy. This is the reason why I look at Derek Jackson and the rest of these retarded fuck ass simple panda bears as a complete utter joke and a bunch of hypocrites. Let's continue.
You go harken back to this live stream or the previous conversations that I had when I told you don't be a step crash dummy. And all of this years and all of this dedication and time. You can try to justify it if you want. You can sit here and play the game and be like, oh no, it makes sense. It's awesome. I really do love him, and it's almost like it's my child. No, that's another man's seed, another man's child. You'll never, ever, ever be able to come back from it.
And by the way, how they sound, Anton Daniels, those retarded fuck ass Sims are so desperate that they will take care of another man's child. Even though they know for a fact that it's not theirs. And 9 times out of 10, those children probably know who their real fathers are. And if those children know who their real biological father is, you think they're gonna respect? You think they're gonna respect those simp ass crash dummies? Hell no. They know who their biological father is. So basically, to these Sims trying to settle for being a stepdaddy, good luck. If the child knows who their biological father is they're not going to respect you. You're a stranger in their eyes. Certified fact. Look it up. Let's continue.
And I'm not saying that the person is not a good person. I'm just saying that it's not ideal for you. And so you shouldn't find yourself in a situation where you're trying to justify taking care of another man's child. You see how hard this is? It wasn't just the lying. It's the fact that he probably looked in them kids' eyes and he was looking for himself in it. And he probably been, thinking about it for a while. And he probably just got the courage up at some point, because some of y'all just don't want to know. It's almost like a disease. You don't want to know. He got the courage up to go and find out, or he got something else came up and it was clear, and he put all 2 and 2 together, and he just probably crashed out. He probably had a PTSD moment. He probably went into shock, and he went and grabbed his revolver. And again, I'm not saying that it's justified. I would never want to take life, but at some point, I just gotta say that I understand it. I don't promote it. I'm not saying that you should do it, but this is why I also say that we need to.
And neither myself or anybody within the MGTOW philosophy is encouraging these actions either. However, we understand what led to that point. Boy, RPM is going to have a field day with this one. I just know it. But yeah, these women need to stop playing with these men, pinning the baby on a man. Man, they have no idea whether or not he is the father or not. had him go through all of this. And as I say before, they don't know what these men are capable of, such as what happened in this situation. He found out all three of his children is not his. It fucked with his mind so bad that he tried to shoot her for lying this whole entire time. So yeah, we understand the situation. We don't condone it, but we understand completely. But that's all I'm gonna say on this matter. Again, shout out to Anton Daniels. If y'all want to watch this video in its full entirety, I'll leave the link to its full video in the comment section. Go check it out. Tell them DMouth sent you. As well as I'm gonna put links to my videos of me also talking about certain situations like this in the comment section as well. Go check it out. Tell them DMouth sent you. But that's all I got for tonight. I'm done. Ladies, this whole pin the baby on the man shit, y'all need to go ahead and dead it. No pun intended. Just kill it all. And to all you naysayers, this is why mandatory paternity tests at birth is important and why it should be passed in all states, whether you like it or not. With that being said, I'm done and I'm out this bitch. Later.